Right, guys, so I'm going to be playing a bit of Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. And yesterday I had an issue with my gamepad. I did explain just a little bit of what happened. My gamepad had an issue, so I couldn't play much of the game yesterday on my Steam Deck. So what I've done basically is I needed to go to the PlayStation website and download the firmware. And the firmware you need, I'll try and look for it. Let me just put Steam down. The firmware you're going to need is this one here. It's called Firmware Updater for DualSense Wireless Controller. Mine does say it's up to date, but that's what I needed to reinstall onto the Steam Deck. And with that as well, I needed to install VRAM bus driver. Basically, I just reinstalled the whole thing, I'm using the handheld control panel. I'll just show you guys. So I'm using 40 watts TDP. Unpacking, of course, is 4. The CPU frequency is 4,000 megahertz. That's 4 gigahertz. The GPU clock is 3.2 gigahertz. And right, so I'm just using these. Let's check. Autos check for updates. I'm going to turn that off because I don't really want to change this. Enable notifications, auto start. That's like when Windows starts up or the Steam Deck starts back up. Maximum GPU clock, it says 3,200, 3.2 gigahertz. Like I said, Steam Deck normally only does 1.6, I think. Minimum TDP, it's 5 watts. Maximum, I've set that at 40 watts. And maximum RTS FPS is set at 40 watts. Sorry, 40 FPS. I don't know why I keep saying that. Watts, and I think I just get a bit confused. Right, so it's set at 40 FPS. But it did say something. You know what? I was trying to use this before. Right, so okay, Riva tuner. So it needs Riva tuner to be installed. Right, so let me try and install this. The last time I installed Riva tuner was a while ago. I mean, quite some time ago. I'll try and do it with you guys. I think I understand how it goes. If I remember correctly, I think, right, so let me bring File Explorer over here. And I've set everything in this one. I've created a folder called Steam Deck Windows Drivers. The reason why I created this is it makes it easier to find everything to do with Steam Deck on Windows. So it's in here. There it is. That's the MSI Afterburner. Oh my God, I don't want this one. It's just moved, you see, so I have to find it again. So I'm just looking for MSI after. Yeah, there it is. So I just double click on it. Use WinRAR, extract here. It doesn't take long to extract. There it is. MSI Afterburner. But then the thing is, if I remember correctly, am I supposed to install the whole thing, or do I just install? Wait, I think I'm only supposed to install the Riva tuner thing, because I don't need the whole Afterburner on the Steam Deck. I mean, I've had it before. I've had it running on the Steam Deck before. But before, I remember it was like I was using it for the FPS counter. And before I knew much about it. But then you see, there's no folder for MSI Afterburner that I can find. So in other words, it's not in here. So I think I've already unpacked it. But it should have shown a folder, right? Isn't it? There should have been a folder somewhere. Right, so let me go to X, whatever you call this thing. I'm just going to look in here. It's called MSI. It's nowhere to be found. Right, so I think basically maybe it's not fully installed. So I think just unpacking it is different from actually installing it. So I'm just looking at this again. It's not in the files, basically. Right, so just going to have one last look and see if I can find it anywhere, and it's nowhere to be found, which is a pity, because I really wanted to, to see if I could just, I don't know, I thought I could just use it from there. I want to see what's got this one. What's in here? Right, AMD GPU clock tool. I can't use it. I tried to use it last time. It doesn't work properly. I've got the EA app installer. I've got that's Epic installer. That's Epic Games. Ubisoft Connect. That's Roblox. And then yeah. Okay, fine. So I have to just go back to this one. What I was looking for basically is the folder for MSI Afterburner. Because I mean, normally when it unpacks, right, it should just have a folder. But this doesn't have a folder. It says in English, yes. It says, welcome to MSI Afterburner setup. Do you accept? Yes. You see, that's what you need, that Riva tuner statistics, whatever you call it. Because they're saying basically if you want to use it, right, it's going to go to program files x86. Why is that important? Because obviously when I need to find it, because you need to locate the whole folder. You need to locate the whole folder, and then you have to have it running in the background. So that's how that's going to work. Why do I need this? Because I need the Riva tuner to use the RTSS, which is the frames per second. Riva tuner will also help you to, that's, I think, let's see which one this one is. Okay, so this is Riva tuner. That's the one I need for the actual, what you call this, for the FPS. The other reason why you might need this is because it actually helps you, like the Steam Deck, the Linux version of Steam Deck. You can actually control the FPS that you want. Like I can set it to 10 FPS, 20, 30, 40, 50. I think it goes, 20, 30, 40, 60, isn't it? I've not seen like more than those values. So what Riva Tuner will do is it can actually lower the FPS counter on games. So there you go. It says, I don't want to read the thing. It says run MSI Afterburner. I don't need the text version. Right, so MSI Afterburner is running. And I think it's in here. You see, the problem is you can't do anything with this because this will not work on the Steam Deck. So I'm going to click Start with Windows, Start Minimized. It says Synchronize Settings 4. Right, so it's actually got the AMD custom thingy, which is fine. Enable hardware control monitoring, enable low-level hardware access, and then restore settings after suspended mode. Right, so all this other stuff like unlocking voltages, unlocking voltage monitoring, force constant voltage, you must not touch this. Why? Because if you set a voltage that the Steam Deck cannot handle, or you put too much voltage into this, the problem with MSI Afterburner, it can actually be like a permanent thing. So imagine every time you start up your Steam Deck, it'll start up with that high voltage. The good thing about the AMD power control panels, if I'm not using the Steam Deck, let's say it just crashes and it restarts, it won't restart with the AMD power control panel with the voltage, like with the watts, like the overclocking voltage that I put. It will actually start up like with nothing on it. Do you understand? So it's not permanent. It doesn't cause damage. It won't cause you problems. That's what I'm trying to say. Whereas with these other softwares, you have to be quite careful. So with MSI Afterburner, what you're trying to do is you're trying to avoid like that setting the overclocking to a limit that the Steam Deck cannot go to. So what I'm trying to say is, what you're trying to do. Oh my God, I don't know why it keeps doing that. It's giving me like information. I just want to click on this. Right. So what you're trying to do, right? It's got frame limits, minimum, average, and then maximum. I think those are the ones I had last time. There's quite a few here that I don't actually want. So it's saying commit charge. That's the charge that's going into the Steam Deck. It says RAM usage and process, but then it's got RAM usage here. So I'm thinking, can I click that off? It says CPU usage. That's fine. I don't want this one. Wait. I just don't get this thing. Can I go here? Right. So I'm trying to take that thing off. Okay, it's off. The ones I don't want is like the CPU 1, 2, 3. I don't want it to be long. Right. It says memory clock memory, then memory usage and process. So that's what I'm trying to think. So what's the difference with this one? And then I click on here. Right. You can also put these in different colors. You can also rename them if you want to. So MSI Afterburner does give you those advantages. You can rename all this stuff if you want to. But I don't want to do any of that stuff. I'm just setting what I want to what I wanted to show. It says show system time, blah 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 blah. What I'm saying is with MSI Afterburner, the problem is if you don't know what you're doing, do not set this to start up with the Steam Deck, because every time, like I said, every time the Steam Deck will start, and if you set a voltage that the Steam Deck keeps crashing on. Okay, the best way to put this is MSI Afterburner is more in depth. It's a very good program, but it can also be a very bad program if you don't know what you're doing. So what I'm trying to say is, if you don't know what you're doing, don't set this to start with the Steam Deck. So if you're just messing about thinking, well, people are doing it, I don't care, blah blah blah, you can buy another Steam Deck, fine. You set this Afterburner at like, I don't know, you put like 90 watts because you got a 90 watt adapter and you think Steam Deck can do 90 watts, right? So you set it like that, and then you set Afterburner to start with the Steam Deck every time it starts up. Every time it starts up, it will start up with that, wanting that 90 watt voltage thing, right? But the problem is, what if Steam Deck is, if it's undervolted, like let's say it doesn't actually use the 90, it just goes up to 65 watts. It'll keep crashing, keep giving you those blue screens. How would you fix it? I think the good thing about Steam Deck is you just remove the SSD, buy another SSD, throw that one in the bin because it's dead. You won't be able to change anything. That's what I'm trying to say. And then basically just reinstall all your games. Yeah, you lose everything, but at least you save your Steam Deck. I'm just saying that this Afterburner is not a game. It's not a joke thing. It's not a joking type of program that you mess about with. So what I'm saying is, with this one, you got to be extremely careful with what you're doing. That's why you see I don't touch nothing in here. I don't touch the voltage. I don't touch the core clocks, the memory clocks, the power clocks, time, the temp limits, the fan speed. I don't touch nothing. I mean, most of the time, there's nothing you can touch in here. But I'm just saying, so that's the Afterburner stuff. This is the FPS thing. But I don't actually want this. What I want to do, if I remember correctly, let's see, is this in here? Okay, so if I close that, it should go into the tray. Wow, it didn't go in the tray. That's weird. No, I mean, it's strange because I did set it to go to minimize. So it's supposed to minimize, it's supposed to go into the tray, but it hasn't gone into the tray. So I'm just wondering, like, why, what has happened? So basically, I have to find it now. So I'm going to click on this, and that's MSI XC. But then I think I have to go to the PC. I have to go to C drive. I have to then find program x86. And then I have to look for MSI Afterburner. And yeah, that's it. So I found the folder. Gonna change view. Like I said, I prefer the list view, which is this one. And like I said, I did set this to actually start, to minimize. I set it to minimize. So it should have, when I closed it, it should have actually gone to the, sorry, I'm just trying to create a shortcut. It should have gone to the tray, but it didn't go to the tray. So that's why I'm wondering, like, what happened? You understand? So I think, let's see, is it in here? So I've actually set this so it can be in here, but I'm still not seeing it. So what I have to do is I'm going to double click on MSI Afterburner and just hope that it starts up. So why am I doing this? Because it just stopped. Yeah, there it is. You see, so it's in the tray now. So that's why I'm wondering, like, why didn't it just appear the last time? So I've got it now. So you see here, I put it here as synchronize settings for similar graphics processors. Start with Windows, start minimize, enable hardware control and monitoring, enable low-level IO driver, enable low-level hardware access interface, restore settings after suspended mode. So what that means is if I'm not using the program, it's just going to restore, it's just going to go back to normal. That's why I said do not set anything in MSI Afterburner, as if you do, if you mess about, like, look, what I'm going to put here is this. You see these ones, the ones I didn't click. I didn't click on unlock voltage control. I didn't click on unlock voltage monitoring, and I didn't click on force constant voltage. These are the ones you must not mess around with. Voltage control, voltage monitoring, and constant force constant voltage. Do not mess with these. Just because I overclock Steam Deck and all that stuff does not mean that suddenly I'm just saying I'm not okay, I'm supposed to create a profile. The thing is, I don't, oh my God, look at that. It just closed. I don't understand what's going on. Anyway, let's go to file Explorer. I mean, it's in my Steam Deck, so it doesn't matter. The problem now is I don't know where Riva Tuner is. I think that's the one I just wanted. So, yeah, I found it. Sorry. So basically, why do I prefer the list view? The list view takes away all that stuff. I don't like seeing when this was created, all that stuff. It's not as important. So what do I want with RTSS? I need this to function so that this what I'm trying to use, I'll just show you. This one is saying maximum RTS FPS is 40 FPS. I need this to function so I can use it with this with a handheld control panel. That's the only reason why I want this to function. So you see that it says RTSS. I'm going to click yes. I mean, it probably already installed, but I just want to see if it's going to start up. There it is. There's Riva Tuner. Good. That's exactly what I wanted. This is what I need. I didn't need the other one. So it says start with Windows, yes. Show on-screen display, yes, fine. It says application detection level, low, okay, fine. Stealth mode, custom direct 3D support. Now you've got to be very careful because the stealth mode, at times, you see if you didn't do this properly, and basically the stealth mode thing, what I'm trying to say is some games, okay, this is the best way I'm going to put it. Some games will think you might be cheating, okay? So let's say I'm playing Call of Duty and I've got this in stealth mode. Sometimes, I'm not saying Call of Duty would, just local games, but I'm saying like there are certain servers, certain games that would detect this RTSS, and they would detect that you're using some external software with the game, because all these Riva Tuner Afterburner types of software, they do work individually with the game. So you've got to be extremely careful with how you set this up. Like what I'm saying is with your games. So let me just jump to setup. It says start minimize, yes. High pre-cached profiles, enable frame color indicator. Yeah, I'll just click on that. It's just the color thing. If you want to change the colors of your FPS counter, as you know, on the Steam Deck Windows, you normally don't get this. It says display inter frame rate, display maximum frame time, enable frame time history overlay. So it says display maximum frame time. I'm going to click on that. I'm probably not going to use it, but I'm just saying. So it says frame start, and it says peak frame time calculation mode, percentage calculation mode, and percentage. So all this stuff, I'm not really I don't know much about this stuff. So it says check for available product updates. I'm gonna put this as a monthly thing because I don't want this checking every day. It's gonna be a problem. It says enable benchmark mode. I'm not gonna do that right now. It says enable dedicated encoder server services. Enable 64-bit application support service. Enable frame time limiter. Enable passive waiting. So it says use Microsoft DTOS API hooking. I don't know what that is. So I'm just saying I'm just gonna leave that as it is. I'm not gonna mess about with this, and that's why I'm saying the only things I clicked on here was start minimized, and that's it. Oh yeah, and enable frame color indicator. That's all I've put. So it says overlay editor, blah 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 blah. Yeah, so okay, so I've just put this hotkey handler D thing and overlay editor. So I think overlay just means this is gonna go on top of your games like a frame counter thing. So it says show user interface tooltips. Right, that's fine. English, and then it says layered with color key. That's a skin, but I think you can change it. I think that's just the way it looks. You can also change the way it looks. Then it says skin transparency. So you can actually choose how this will look, how transparent you want it, right? If you want it to be transparent or you want to be able to actually see it properly. Then skin scaling, and it says 100%, and it goes all the way from 75% to 200%. I don't know what that would look like. Then so it's got general, plugins, user interface, and I'm going to click on OK. And you can see it's almost like transparent, right? So let me just jump back into that and go to I'm going to go all the way down to transparency, and try and make that look a bit better. I think that looks slightly better, isn't it? I do like it looking transparent myself. So what would you do with this? Well, this is where you would select a game, and then you'd select what frame rate you want it in. So how do you do it? Well, it's not bad. Let me just select a color first. The last time I did this quite a while ago. So you see that you can hardly see, right? So let me change the color of that. You can't see the color of that. Okay, so let me select that, but it's still too dark. I think I did that. Oh yeah. Now you can't see it completely. So let me do it like this. Yeah, you can see it. So the color hasn't changed, but I'm just thinking, can I select a yellowish color? This is just the frame counter thing, how it's gonna look. Right, it says show own thing. I don't really need that. Show display fill thing. I don't know what that is. It says raster. It says vector 3D raster viewpoint frame buffer. Scale line sync, frame rate limits, custom direct 3D support, stealth mode. Then it's like I said, be careful stealth mode, because if you use this with certain games and then you jump into a match and then that game recognizes that you're using a third party program with your game, it may think you're cheating and automatically kick you out the match, or it can actually ban you permanently. So be careful. Don't just click on stealth mode for fun. That's why I'm saying it's there for certain games that don't have a problem with Afterburner. Maybe it's just best to do a check. So you just type it in, like, you just do a Google search, like MSI Afterburner with Riva tuner, like next to the game that you want to play. So if you want to play Call of Duty, just type it in. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3, can I use, or you can just put dash MSI Afterburner and then put Riva tuner and then Google that and see what the results are. Because maybe people are talking about it. And if they say don't use it in the game because you get banned, then you don't use it. Just make sure it's shut down. Shut it down, go in Task Manager, close it down. Make sure it's not running. If you need to exit out of it, then jump back in the game. So I'm just saying there's ways of finding out if this is allowed. It's not a problem. This is just used to control. It's used to control your frames per second, right? So the best way I can put it is this. I'm playing Call of Duty on my Steam Deck. I decide that I don't want the 60 FPS because obviously I can't get 60 FPS. But I decide that I do want to limit the frames per second to like 30. You understand? So I think 30 for me is okay. Between 30 and 40, you can actually do this with Riva tuner. So I know you're probably thinking, well, that sounds ridiculous. It's not ridiculous. You can actually do it. It's possible. but you need to know what you're doing. So that's why I'm saying it is possible. It is a very possible thing, but you just need to know what you're actually doing. So it's not impossible. That's what I'm trying to say. Sorry guys, I'm just typing this thing out because if I don't type it out, I'll just forget. So I'm just typing River Tuner, and it's written statistics, and then it says server. Now, I would have done this properly if I was supposed to watch a video about this and then come on and just explain why I needed this so badly. But it's not like I needed it completely. It's just, well, cutting the long story short, it's gonna make my life a whole lot easier with what I want to do. You understand? So I've just put a River Tuner Statistics, whatever you call it, server, RTSS for short, handheld power control panel, right? And then I'm going to put in brackets 40 FPS. So the only reason why I want this to work is because the handheld power control panel, I don't know if that's used for overclocking, but it does have a function whereby you can control the FPS. Do you understand? Let me show you what I'm talking about, because if I just keep talking. So I'm going to remove River Tuner for 1 second. Right there it says maximum RTSS FPS 40 FPS. I selected 40 because I think the Steam Deck does 40 and 60 FPS, mostly in games. So for example, on the Linux version of Steam Deck, you don't need these programs. It's already built into the system for Linux. But the problem is with Windows, it's not built in. So the only way for me to get this to work is to actually have it running in the background. And so if I remember here, I think you click on add. It takes me to the main thing here. So I need to find where I've got Call of Duty. So I hope I don't get banned. I hope they'll be like, "What's this guy up to? What's he doing?" That's what I'm saying. But I don't think they would ban me. It's not like we're playing online or anything like that. So I found Steam. I'm gonna find Steam apps, and Steam apps should have the actual library, because I hope it's actually on this side. There we go. So I think I've found it. Advanced Warfare. But is that the actual one? Is that Advanced? I don't think it's that one, right? I've got Call of Duty Advanced Warfare, Black Ops 2, Black Ops 3. I've got Call of Duty HQ, and then I've got Call of Duty World War 2, and all these others. So I don't know. I'm kind of confused now. So you know what? I'm gonna add War Robots. So you add XE. Let me just show you how you do it. So War Robots has been added. So all you do in here now is you have to type in what you want. So for the frame counter, I'm gonna set this to 30. No, wait, let's make it 40, because I've set it to 40. So frame limits, I've put that to 40, and then it says Scaline Sync. I don't know what that is, but I just set that to 40. Let's see, custom direct 3D support. I don't know what that is. Let's see, on-screen display support on-screen display rendering mode, and then it's got vector 2D, vector 3D, and then raster 3D. I don't know what the difference is. I'm just going to select vector 3D. And then it says on-screen display coordinates space viewpoint frame buffer. It says by default on-screen display coordinate space matches with coordinate space of rendering viewpoint. I don't know what the difference is. I'm just going to use viewpoint. On-screen display shadow, and then it's on. And then on-screen display fill. I'm gonna put on, and then let's see, on-screen display palette. So that's the color. That's orange. Yellow. It looks like an orange or yellow. I don't know what color that is. On-screen display zoom. So I'm thinking I can actually make this smaller, or larger. All right, I see that. Okay. Now let me make that a bit smaller. Show on. So the main reason why I'm selecting this is because I actually want to see if this is gonna work with what do you call this thing? This Scaline Sync. I'm just wondering what that's for. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to set that to 40 as well. So that basically, I don't know if that's also a frame counter. So I'm setting that to 40. And let's see. So I'm going to go to the other one. So I've put War Robots. The only issue I've got now is I don't know the differences with Call of Duty. I mean, the ones I've got. I do. This is Advanced Warfare. Uh, oh my God, there's no game in here. It's not here. So I think this is not on my C drive. So it's not in here. That's a pity, right? So that's my C drive. It's not in here. I think it's on the memory card. So I actually need to find it. So it's not located in there. I've got a Steam library in this one, Steam apps, common, and it should be in here because it's not showing up in the other one. Wait a minute. It's not here either. It's not there. I've got Broforce, Citizens on Mars, Dead Island, Destiny 2, Grand Emprise, Halo Infinite, Lunar Abyss. What else is Star Wars Battlefront 2, Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Extraction. You know what? Did I buy that game? Okay, I didn't buy Extraction. I bought the other Rainbow Six game. I've got the other one. Right. War Thunder, Undawn. Some of these I used to have. I don't have them anymore. Right. So it's not in here. That's crazy because I'm actually playing this game. You know one thing? Wait. Let me go to File Explorer and find the game. Right. So I need to go to desktop. Can I go to desktop? And I need to actually find the game in here. Let's see. Where is it at? There it is. Call of Duty Modern Warfare. Then 2 was on 2.0. But there's two of them. There's this one and that one. So I'm going to click on it. And I need to find the file location. If it will let me look for the file location. I think that one is not the actual game. It's just written 2.0. So let me click on the other one. And it's the same thing. It's not actually letting me copy as path, restore previous versions, properties, blah, 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 blah. I don't want any of this. You see what I'm trying to look for? I want the file location. But it's not showing me where the file location is. So I don't know what to do with this then. So how am I supposed to find... Oh, God. How am I supposed to find where it is? Because it is here. There it is. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 Warzone. So that's what it's called. It's not called Advanced Warfare. So it's not the one that I was searching for. But I'm just wondering, so how do I find it? How do I get to it? Right, let me look again into this is C drive. Looking in here. But you see, you're not like, you need to find Steam. So it doesn't really matter what I do. It's always going to be through Steam. Let's see, Steam in here. No, it's not in this one. I'm just feeling like, how do you get to it? I want to get to Call of Duty. I want to add Call of Duty because, listen, the only way RTSS is going to work properly is you need to get it with the game. And once it's attached to the game, that's how you're going to get the game working. You understand? So it's just because I've got it enabled, like I've got it installed, doesn't mean it's just going to work. You understand? Right, so Black Ops 2, how about this HQ? Because I'm wondering, that's the only one that's standing out to me. The Black Ops 3 and 2, I know about those. Those are basic games. Advanced Warfare, I know that's a game that I've got. World War 2, these are games I had before. I mean, I don't have them now. The one I've got, World War 2, I've got on Linux, my Linux Steam Deck. But I'm thinking about the HQ, right? I think this is the one. I'm just going with it because I can't find the game. You understand? I need the XC file. I just want the XC. Look at all this stuff. What's all these things? There's a lot of stuff in here. Right, and nothing. I want the game. Listen, if I'm adding the game to settings on my Steam Deck in Windows, I would still need to do this. You know that? Let's say I wanted the game to work with high performance, and I go to settings. You still need to find the exe file. So that's why I'm saying it will be the same thing. So I'm not cheating. I'm not trying to cheat. I want to set the game to a standard, but it's not showing me where the exe file is. So I need to look for it then. So I've looked in D3, D12, it's not there. I've looked in main, shader catch. I don't think it will be in here. I doubt it. It's got to be an exe file. Why is it important that I find it? It's important because that's the game. You cannot just put anything you like. You can't just be like, oh, you know what, I can't be bothered, I'll just put whatever I feel like. You've got to add the exe file, because if you don't add the exe file, it won't work. So that is the unfortunate part of all of this. I can't find where they put the game. That's the problem. I mean, it's a whole list of files, but what you're looking for is the exe. It's called an exe file, and it should be the game, but it's not in here. So what I'm thinking of doing now, the other option would be I need to use my settings to find the game, because I can't find it.